And so next I'm going to introduce our associate editor, Dr. Ulf Hedin from the Karolinska.
So the next talk of this webinar is exciting to me, and I hope it's exciting to all of you. It kind of touches upon, the curiosity and the anxiety you feel when you're going to submit a paper, or as a reviewer when you're going to review a paper, because you really don't know what's happening in the head of a reviewer. And I would love to know what other reviewers think. So it's a pleasure to introduce José Diaz, who is the director of the Division of Surgical Research and a research associate professor of surgery at Vanderbilt, to share with us the differences and perhaps the peculiar things that goes on in the mind of a reviewer. We're all dying to hear about that. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind introduction. I will share my screen. Let me see if it works. Yes, I was assigned to talk about how to be a great reviewer. Since we have 5 minutes, I hope I can touch on the points that reviewers shouldn't miss in the review process. Basically, what happened during the review process are 3 stages. The first stage is accepting or declining the manuscript to review. The second step is the review process itself, and submitting the review to the editors with your comments. So let's think that you receive an invitation to review a manuscript and might decide whether to decline or to accept. Among others, there are 3 important steps here, or concepts that we need to be very clear. Sorry. If it's your field of expertise, if there is a conflict of interest, and time, those are factors that are very important. If it's far from your field of expertise, that is probably a thought to decline to review the papers. Your judgment could not be fair. Or it could take too much time to understand and review the process, the paper. Or also, if there is a conflict of interest or you don't have time, these are all factors that help you to decline to review a manuscript. The opposite will prompt you to accept to review the manuscript. But even if you accept, there are sometimes situations in where when you initiate to review the review process, you can feel that this is a little far from your field of expertise. You should send a note to the editor and excuse yourself from your responsibility. The second part is the review itself. So reviewers usually check the style of the manuscript, that it was said in the first talk today. Every journal has instruction from the authors. We have to. So it's important to check. Time and dedication. It's important that the review is assigned a particular time, because it's important. Don't review between cases. And it is your responsibility after you accept to review it. Check on the scientific method. If it's a hypothesis-driven science, are the methods used to test the hypothesis suitable? Are the results clearly and simply delivered? Are the conclusions appropriate based on the results? These are questions that helps the reviewers to address the manuscript from the scientific point of view. As a reviewer, the review should be simple and clear. Express your questions and comments to the authors in a simple way. Don't lecture the authors. Be humble. Be kind and try to make contribution to the authors and their project. The reviewer should be open-minded and receptive to new concepts. Think about the potential impact of the manuscript in the field. What if the manuscript challenges a well-established paradigm and is against your own perspective? Well, some manuscripts are really breakthrough in the field, and we need to be able to detect such importance. As a reviewer, also the reviewer should be aware to the academic misconduct. They should be checked and stay alert for IRB approval, preclinical protocols approvals, working with animal models. Sometimes the authors forget to include in the paper, and we need to make sure that we keep an alert on that. We need to be checking on sample size and other things like plagiarism and duplication. And the last part of the process itself is writing the letter to inform the editors about your review or your revision. This is, first of all, also an important step. And remember that this reflects on you. What to include? Well, when you write to the editors, you should include the manuscript title and the number that is assigned by the journal, include your recommendation, include a synopsis of the manuscript reflecting the main points of the work, and be professional, even if you have a long-standing relationship with the editors. List your comments following the letter, include the point report with comments. List the major comments first and then the minors. Then keep in mind that the spirit to scientifically contribute to with each of your comments. That's important. And also it's important that you as a reviewer recommend. Don't state to the authors your recommendation. Only share your recommendation to the editor. The editor will make the final decision. The review process is confidential. Do not share the work, neither partially, of the authors. That is very important. So in summary, these are the three main parts that I can identify in the review process. And remember, reviewers can provide constructive criticism and still be kind while inspiring rigorous science. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jose. So in the interest of time, I really do appreciate this information and the structured way to approach the review process. I just have one very brief question. Could you give the audience an advice and those of us submitting papers, how do you avoid annoying a reviewer and have his or her interest to be kept up for a good review?
In my experience, that is simple. I was an author before I became a reviewer, for example. And I always take this perspective and I put it up front. So and this can be translated in other things in life, but I like to be treated, in the way I try to treat people in the way that I like people treat me. And that is a simple rule that applies in order to be a reviewer. We need to be very respectful. Sometimes we can understand exactly, and we need to ask ourselves, what it try to be said. So I think be kind is very important in the review process.
Alan asked me to get back to him quickly. So thank you very much, Jose, for your contribution.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.